Boruto, Naruto's son, is a young shinobi who has grown up in a time of peace, but struggles to escape the shadow of his famous Hokage father. Kawaki, on the other hand, is a young boy with a troubled past who is taken in by Naruto's family. Initially hostile to Boruto, the two boys gradually develop a bond, and their friendship becomes the central focus of the Boruto series. As Boruto and his friends are drawn into the conflict with Kara, they come to realize that Kawaki is the key to defeating the organization. His unique abilities make him a valuable asset in the fight against Kara, but they also make him a target. Throughout the Boruto series, Boruto and Kawaki's relationship deepens as they learn to trust each other and work together to protect their village and their loved ones. The story of Boruto and Kawaki is one of friendship, loyalty, and the struggle to find one's place in a changing world. The conflict between Boruto and Kawaki begins when Kawaki comes to live with Naruto and his family, including Boruto. Whilst living with them, Kawaki and Boruto form a close bond, however the peace is soon disrupted when Kara comes looking for Kawaki. Boruto and his friends thus get involved. Without giving away too much of the plot, their fight is a culmination of various events and conflicts that occur throughout the Boruto series. It is a battle between two powerful shinobi with different ideologies and motivations. The exact reasons for their fight and how it ends are still being revealed in the ongoing Boruto manga and anime series. With that being said, I will now go over every altercation or fight they have and give reasoning as to who's stronger with each one. I will also talk about the future matchups and who would win those as well. Enjoy. The first fight is a bit of a hypothetical because we never actually get to see this Boruto interact with Kawaki, but as I said before, this is the Boruto he is first introduced in the series. The Boruto has the scientific ninja tool versus the first Kawaki that we see within the Owl arc. This battle is a bit weird to go over because whilst the ninja tools gives him access to jutsu above what he can produce normally, such as purple lightning and actual normal sized Rasengans, it doesn't necessarily mean it changes his physical body and or reaction speeds, which is a big issue for someone like Kawaki who is already battle trained to fight Kara Outers. If you don't know who Kara Outers is, they are these scientifically enhanced ninja who scale above Leaf Jonin pretty easily. We see this with Ao. He also has access to Karma, which even if Boruto could use these hypothetical Hokage or Kage level jutsu with his ninja tool, it would just end up being absorbed and used for fuel for Kawaki. This is a clear Kawaki dub as Boruto is kinda untrained at this point. Moving on. In chapter 27, the actual first battle happens shortly after Kawaki is taken into the Naruto household. In this chapter, while Boruto and Kawaki are forced to urinate outside because Naruto is occupying the restroom, we finally get to see how they would fare in a fight base to base. The match starts off pretty fair, nobody overtaking anyone, and they are both able to properly react to each other as well. They then activate Karma and the fight is stopped by a clone of Naruto himself. This is before we get to see Karma in action, so we don't actually get a chance to see who would win Karma to Karma, but base to base, it's fair to say that they are clearly evenly matched, so this is a W to both of them. Just a few chapters later, in chapter 30, we see Boruto and Kawaki in their Karma states, getting ready to battle as training in front of Naruto. With this battle, it starts as both are clashing hands and dodging each other, as Kawaki uses his scientifically enhanced body to block a shuriken and force Boruto into the air. He then tells Boruto to not dodge at all and absorb with his Karma mark, in which Boruto, not understanding his power as of yet, gets scared and tries but fails to absorb the blast, thus hurting his hand. With all of this, we begin to understand while Boruto is an experienced fighter in his own right, Kawaki's far better at understanding of Karma and his scientifically enhanced ninja tool body, as well as being an experienced fighter, allows him to edge out Boruto as he is able to control his abilities at will and is teaching Boruto as well. This one is a clear-cut Kawaki W. This is where it starts to heat up. In chapter 54, we get to see a controlled low chakra Borushiki or Momoshiki controlled Boruto do battle versus a freshly freed Kawaki. The battle starts with Borushiki easily evading Kawaki's scientifically enhanced ninja tool arm and stabbing him in the back with the kunai. Sasuke intervenes to help, but it's now Borushiki is doing battle with Sasuke and Kawaki while still low on chakra. Kawaki tries to rush at Borushiki again, but to no avail, as Borushiki easily overpowers him and kicks him around, forcing Sasuke to hop in. But Borushiki also reacts and does battle with him, even tanking a lightning style and reacting / countering to Amaterasu and fire style. Borushiki throws a vanishing Rasengan at Sasuke, making him bleed, knocking him over, then rushing and easily again overpowering Kawaki with little to no difficulty. As an attempt to spoil Momoshiki's plans of feeding him to the God Tree and gaining more power, he attempts to off himself, but Momoshiki absorbs the flame, causing Boruto to gain consciousness and break his horn array, showing that he has freed himself from Momoshiki's control. Now, this fight makes it pretty much abundantly clear that even while low on chakra and severely weakened, Borishiki can beat around Kawaki. Now, Kawaki did lose karma, but he also had the help of Sasuke, someone who, while he's beat up and just got his eye stabbed out, is still someone who can rival the Hokage, and post this, he still goes on missions. So Borishiki overpowering and putting on the defense of Sasuke and Kawaki at the same time just pretty much proves to us that Borishiki at this point was stronger than base Kawaki. Later on in chapter 65, Boruto has a heart attack, which again prompts Momoshiki to take over his body and starts to completely and absolutely wreak havoc around that surrounding area. Massive Rasengans at will at Code, and with ease, he then shoots a Rasendan through Code's shoulder. The Rasendan being a variation of the Rasengan, whilst he's holding Kawaki hostage. He then blitzes around Code and kicks someone who was easily handling Kawaki prior. Borishiki then is able to easily grab Kawaki, and when he tries to break away, he kicks him, one-shotting him, and stepping on his arm in the process. This then prompts Naruto to come and save him as he absorbs Shikamaru's shadow possession in an attempt to halt Boruto. Kawaki then again rushes at Borishiki, but fails, getting swiftly taken out and easily defeated, showing Borishiki's superiority yet again. Borishiki charges up a massive Rasengan, about to kill Naruto. Just then, Kawaki awakens his karma, in the form of purely a weapon, as Amato says. Reacting to it and absorbing all of it, this new awakened Kawashiki instantly attacks, throwing giant chakra-stealing rods Boruto's way with his dojutsu. He also throws the scientific ninja tool shards as well. While Borishiki dodges these, they cause great damage to the surrounding area. Just then, he flings giant cubes from midair, attempting to crush Borishiki, who again is running all over the battlefield trying to evade these attacks. Borishiki uses the smoke from these attacks to try and catch him off guard and Rasengan Kawashiki, but to no avail, as Kawashiki shrinks it and responds with his own fire style jutsu, which procs Borishiki to absorb as well. Borishiki then goes to kick Kawaki, causing him to shrink and evade, coming from behind him with the ninja tool hand, forcing Borishiki to kick him away. The battle continues, nobody is able to topple the other, and they then clash with the Kawaki Claw and Rasengan both cancelling each other out, and causing a massive explosion in the process. The fight continues as Kawaki punches away Boruto and starts pressing him with his dojutsu yet again. Just as they are fighting, Boruto starts to regain consciousness, forcing Momo to slow down and get hit by the chakra-stealing rods. A cube then comes from midair and has almost crushed Borishiki, if not for Naruto coming in and saving him. Boruto, now mainly in control, launches away Naruto and tells Kawaki to kill him, which he does. With this fight being the biggest one we've seen thus far, let's analyze it. In the beginning, since Kawaki doesn't have karma anymore, Boruto has the clear advantage. We see this when he fights Code better than Kawaki, but what solidified it is when Borishiki is able to come out and not only completely destroy and scare Code, but also destroy Kawaki with little to no difficulty. You may think, well, Kawashiki outperforms Boruto with his dojutsu, but if we take a closer look at this fight, we would see that Boruto spamming giant Rasengans and variations of the Rasengan prior makes it though his chakra loss will be far more severe than Kawaki's, meaning that him still being evenly matched with a fresh karma Kawaki post all these massive abilities is far more impressive. I would give this W to Borishiki as well. Now, the most recent battle they've had is in chapter 78. After realizing Kawaki has sealed his parents and ran off away from the village, Boruto runs off attempting to find him. A portal begins to form around Boruto as he activates the karma on his hand to disrupt its formation. He then meets Kawaki atop the Hokage monument just like chapter 1, but it isn't destroyed. Kawaki begins with pointing, then revealing his cubes and rods in his hand. Kawaki activates karma and his dojutsu, starting the battle. With just his karma hand activated, the now 100% Otsutsuki Boruto, who claims he can use Momoshiki's power far better than before, can evade Kawaki's ninja tools and dojutsu with medium difficulty, even blocking his giant cubes far better than before. Kawaki then launches a tree arm and Boruto blocks it and responds with a kunai. After this, Boruto activates his karma and massive Rasengan forms, obliterating Kawaki's arm. Boruto quickly runs around Kawaki and throws a thunderbolt, causing Kawaki to shrink it and kick away Boruto. The fight is interrupted before Kawaki can punch Boruto more, with Sarada's fireball prompting Kawaki to absorb that. After a conversation with Kawaki, Kawaki starts to walk towards Sarada with the intent to harm her, but Boruto rushes in, getting the fabled and much awaited scar. After this, Boruto is hurt and Kawaki is low on chakra. The battle ends, for now. With this fight being the most recent, we get a few things. While Boruto's 100% Otsutsuki buff helps a lot with, as we see, with speed and reactions, along with the use of massive Rasengans now, so we can assume that his chakra pool has been upgraded. It's still now not enough to topple the dojutsu that Kawaki has awakened and his completely weaponized karma. They both aren't in their final forms, but if Karma 1 speaks for anything, then Kawaki takes this one easy. Along with his statement from Amato that he is currently the strongest in the Leaf Village, I think Kawaki, at least as far as this point in the story, is the strongest of the rivals. Now briefly, I know most people have questions as to, oh, if Kawaki has the strongest inner demon, Ishiki, and Boruto has the weaker one, Momoshiki, shouldn't Kawaki's karma always be stronger? I like to go at this theory a bit more and kind of debunk the notion that just because Ishiki is stronger than Momoshiki, he has a stronger karma. Let's begin. Firstly, information that I think I have to get out the way is that what karma is based on is how compatible your body is with that said Otsutsuki. Now, of course, Ishiki and Kawaki are extremely compatible, and he is Ishiki's main vessel and what he sought after for. It doesn't mean he is more compatible than Boruto, or Boruto isn't just more compatible with his Otsutsuki. Now, whether or not that makes a difference in how the power is portrayed through karma, we don't know, but it definitely is something to look at. Now, firstly, people also think, well, since Ishiki's kind of powering Kawaki, like I said at the beginning, he should be far stronger than Momoshiki. Both of them are powered by very powerful Otsutsukis, but Ishiki especially is more of like along the physical type of Otsutsukis and fighters. We see this when he fights Naruto and Sasuke. He uses rods along with taijutsus to completely overpower his opponents. Whereas Momoshiki is a lot more of the AoE and flashy type of fighter, which would perfectly complement this taijutsu battle style. Because of course, if you can stay back and shoot like ki blast at someone, they have to rush in and get up close, you have the advantage. Now you may be asking, well, Boruto's is far weaker for that advantage to mean anything. Well, no, as I believe he has fused Momoshiki's power instead of base Momoshiki's power. I'll explain. Now, of course, the inner demon or ghost we see pop up is Momoshiki in base all of the time, and people say, well, that's your answer right there. No. Fused Momoshiki only looks different from base Momoshiki because he was physically updated. His genetics were updated, thus changing his appearance. His soul remains the same, and that is what we see in all of the chapters. So he can have the power that Fused Momoshiki holds, but since he wasn't spiritually updated, it only shows the appearance of base Momoshiki. Boruto also has access to 100% of Otsutsuki DNA now. He is no longer human, he is now 100% Otsutsuki. And he also should have gotten amps from being near death versus Kawaki and Code. As we know, training made people stronger, but fighting is a shortcut to training, and fighting is just training but in much harsher conditions. Boruto getting more hurt and having more battles than Kawaki means he would have received more amps. On top of his karma being fused Momoshiki, his attack potency and destructive capabilities should be far greater. Now, since I do believe this is fused Momoshiki's power, you may be asking why doesn't he showcase any of Kenshiki's abilities? Well, he doesn't showcase all of Momoshiki's abilities as well, so I believe in the future he's going to get more of a grasp on Momoshiki's abilities. He's going to show Momoshiki's Rinnegan ability, fused Momoshiki ability, and Kenshiki abilities. I think he is not going to be limited within the future, so we may be seeing another massive amp coming to Boruto, I don't know. As far as Kawaki goes, he's already utilizing Ishiki's abilities in kind of different ways than Ishiki. The Ishiki we saw also had a pretty fragile and brittle body, so he couldn't use his capabilities to its 100%. On top of Kawaki having the amp of having a scientifically enhanced body, he should be receiving major upgrades and amps in the near future as well, maybe awakening his own type of power on top of Karma, as it is now completely weaponized and his own. Another topic I want to discuss, since it's kind of meaningful for this versus battle, is the Jogan. Now, besides the Jogan, of course, giving a stat increase, some of the abilities that I think would aid in the battle of Kawaki, especially showing that he can spawn portals on top of people and trap them in a dimension where time doesn't flow. The Jogan can specifically detect the flow of chakra, perceive negative energies, see through barriers, and connect dimensions, detect danger, and predict the location of portals. So just like Boruto was able to react to a portal formed around him in the recent chapter 78, he would now be able to see the flow of portals and exactly where Kawashiki is going to place them, thus aiding him against Kawaki even more. Also a few like novel feats. If you think the novels are canon, then Boruto would have access to Absolute Zero, the ability to absorb chakra from entire dimensions and stars, and Momoshiki's huge AoE abilities from the novels. But if you don't think they are canon, then whatever, just like the Jogan. I don't believe the Jogan is canon, but if it does become canon in the future, those are basically its moveset. Now, another thing Boruto has a part of his arsenal is the Byakugan. The Otsutsuki Byakugan in specific seems to come with a lot more things than the Hyuga Byakugan. As we see with Kaguya, she can summon these like vacuum fists. She can blow away Hagoromo and Hamura in the filler with just her Byakugan. And Momoshiki can see people's whole fates and futures. If he would have access to these abilities via his Byakugan, then that would also aid versus Kawashiki. Now that I've been over Boruto's kind of moveset and what he could grab in the future to deal with Kawaki, let's kind of dive into Kawaki. Like I mentioned earlier, his ability to grasp over Ishiki's stuff, just like Jigen, but with a far more better body. So he should be replicating the feats that Jigen had, if not better, and he should be able to use them on a much larger scale. Besides that, like I mentioned earlier, he does have a scientifically enhanced body. I believe almost 100% of his body is like a scientific weapon. So maybe we'll be seeing more crazy stuff with that. He is also learning ninjutsu, or has learned ninjutsu. He can now use fire style without the use of hand signs. So he may dive further into fire style and unlock more chakra natures as well. His dojutsu is not explored yet, so there must be more abilities awaiting that too. So that could be his moveset to kind of counteract all the gifts that Boruto has currently. Other than that, as an honorable mention, I want to mention Chapter 1, Time Skip Boruto versus Time Skip Kawaki. As it's just a few pages, the future events, they don't want to give away that much, but they both seem to be evenly matched and equally confident, so it's hard to say who's exactly stronger at that point in time. But in true shonen fashion, especially judging from the prequel being Naruto and DBZ, which it draws heavy inspiration from, the good guys typically win. With that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. I spent a lot of time researching and trying to make this come out before the anime onlys kind of get to this point in the anime. And just basically inform you on the power scaling side of things. Because just like the Naruto and Sasuke rivalry, Vegeta and Goku rivalry, and whoever the Bleach rivalry has, that show sucks. The power scaling is always a bit vague and up to interpretation. This is purposely done via the author because whatever character you relate to more, you can kind of say, well, he's stronger because of this, or relate to the MC more where he's stronger because of this, and they leave it kind of ambiguous, right? But don't forget to like, comment, and share this video, as I did spend a lot of time on it, and goodbye.